What is up, my children? What is going on, my friends? How is everybody doing today? It has been a great day. Even though if anybody was just watching and you saw it get me cut off, I do apologize. Don't know what the F just happened. It just said that I was no longer connected to the internet and it just cut me off. I was connected to the internet. I don't get it, but either way, we are back. I'm probably gonna have to start from the very beginning, just because I want to make this a full episode, and I want to make this a really good episode, or at least a decent episode, the one I'm gonna kind of like, you know. Anyways, before I do get started, if you are interested and smart money trading, if you're interested in crypto, if you're interested in updates on new coins, things like that, new exchanges, even I'll go as far as stocks or indices or Forex, but primarily I am committed to crypto and crypto news right now. If you are one of those people that enjoy those things, please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, that way you don't miss out on anything else from me going forward, because I do put out a lot of content. I do have over 100 something videos, and a lot of those are technical analysis videos, and some of these are news videos like this one. So this is going to be a strictly news video, and it's going to be an interesting one. So, as we all know today, Mr. Elon Musk, the man himself, the myth himself, has put I forget how much was it? 1 point. Here, let's just. But before we even get beginning, put 1.5 billion into Bitcoin, right? What does it do to Bitcoin? It skyrockets it. I mean, earlier today, right? It was 30 something thousand, 33, 36, somewhere around in there. Actually, I want to say it was around 38. It was around 38 before it exploded. And then it exploded and it got up to 44.9. And then it dropped after that, and then it kind of had a little bit, and now it's been wavering up in this area, right? We'll get into the technicals in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of show you that little graphic there. And hold on one second. The real question is, though, what does this mean for Musk, right? So what is Musk actually trying to say here with all of this? It means something, right? And I'm actually going to get off of this this background. I have a feeling it's slowing down my speed, so I'm going to just get straight to the browser here, and we'll show a picture of Musk. How about that? Show a good picture of Musk and his manliness and what he is. So what all does this mean? So I was trying to find a good article about this, and I found this one, right? This one from Reuters. And I was reading it, and I get to this interesting point where it says here, Tesla said its filing decision to move nearly 8%, right? 8% of its reserves into Bitcoin was part of a broad investment policy as a company aimed at diversifying and maximizing its returns on cash, including holding gold. The report said it ended 2020 with 19.38 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Quite a lot. We expect Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future, subject to applicable laws and initial liabilities. We may not liquidate upon receipt. Tesla said it could invest in aggregate 1.5 billion in Bitcoin under a change policy and could acquire and hold digital assets from time to time or long term. And then it gives us Bitly link, and it says shares of the company rose 1.3% Monday. Gold jumped more than 1%, while Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies surged to record highs. Ethereum, not so much. It was Bitcoin that was more of the story. Long story of value. I'm not going to get into this so much. What I want to get into is what this Bitly link gave me. Right, and what this Bitly link gave me was this, right? And this was the interesting part, right? So this was the actual SEC filing of everything that's going on with Tesla and the 10K and everything like that. And you can find a lot of information in here. Basically, it's all about the vehicles, things like that. And he talks a lot about the Gigafactory in New York, and about how they're forced to shut down under the rules, and how they were allowed to this may be it, and maybe unable to effectively grow or manage compliance or residual value financing, credit risk related to or various financing programs. So this has to do with the leasing of the vehicles, things like that. Here he talks about how they spent $5 billion combined capital of cost of goods sold in the state of New York during a 10-year period beginning of 2018, as we temporarily suspended most of our manufacturing operations in the Gigafactory in New York, pursuant New York executive order issued March 20th as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. We were granted 1 year deferral of our obligation to be compliant with applicable targets under such agreement. In New York and the surrounding Buffalo area. Any failure by us or any over the course of the term to meet all applicable future obligations may result in our obligation to pay a program payment of $41 million to the SGNY Foundation for such year, the termination of our lease at Gigafactory in New York, which may require us to pay additional penalties and or need to adjust certain of our operations, in particular our production ramp, a solar roof, and other companies or components. Any foregoing events, it may harm our business financial conditions and our operational results. Now what he's talking about is basically talking about running the company in an effective manner, right? And the all the issues that have arose this past year that have kind of hindered them, and those kind of things. And as somebody as Musk is, and especially a company like Tesla is, they're changing the game as far as any kind of car company has ever seen. Nobody has ever seen anybody do anything like this. Not only that, they're doing SpaceX, they're doing the first commercial space flights. They're doing things that no company has ever done. So they're taking on a lot of risks. And with a lot of risks, they're gonna have to back that with something, right? They're gonna have to need something to make sure that they're going to be able to be sustainable in the future. And that's what a lot of this is. I always like to search billions to see what will come up. As of December 31st, 2020, we and our substitutes had outstanding $10.57 billion in aggregate principal amount of indebtedness. See note 12, debt to the consolidation fund law report form 10K. Our substantial consolidated indebtedness may increase our vulnerability to general adverse economic or industry conditions. We and our subsidiaries may subject to limitations in the terms of our existing future indebtedness, incurring additional debt, secure existing or future debt, or recapitalize our debt. So they're saying that, you know, they're a little bit in debt. 10.57 billion. That's a pretty big chunk. I'm not gonna lie, but with a company that makes this kind of, you know, money, it's not, you know, not unheard of or anything like that. But here is where it gets interesting, right? You know, where they say that they invest, right? So I want you to pay attention to the wording of this, right? This is where it gets interesting. All right. In January 2021, we updated our investment policy to provide us with more flexible to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash that is not required to maintain adequate operating liquidity. As part of the policy, which was duly approved by the audit committee of our board of directors, we may invest a portion of such cash in certain alternative reserves assets, including digital assets, gold bullion, gold exchange trading funds, ETFs, and other assets as specified in the future. Therefore, we invested an aggregate of $1.5 billion in Bitcoin under this policy and may acquire and hold digital assets from time to time or long term. Moreover, we expect to begin accepting Bitcoin in form of payment for our products in the future, subject to applicable laws and initially on a limited basis. We may or may not liquidate upon receipt. May or may not liquidate upon receipt, meaning we may take that form of payment and then put it into our vault of more of 1.5 billion Bitcoin. The prices of the assets which have been in the past may continue to be highly volatile. See what he says here. Just look at this. Prices of digital assets have been in the past and may continue to be highly volatile. Okay, he may be saying digital assets. At first, I read that maybe a little bit differently, but I'm maybe just reading this as digital assets in general, including as a result of various associated risks and uncertainties. For example, prevalence of such assets. Relatively recent trend in their long-term adoption of investors, consumers, and businesses is unpredictable. Moreover, their lack of physical form, their reliance on technology on their creation, existence, and transaction validation, and their decentralization may subject their integrity to the threat of malicious attacks. Okay, basically saying that there is a possibility that, you know, putting your money in Bitcoin, it could be you know, a risk, basically. If we hold assets and their values decrease relative to our purchase prices, our financial conditions may be harmed. No, that's not where it gets interesting. Where it gets interesting is down here. We are exposed to fluctuations in currency exchange rates, right? We transact business globally in multiple currencies and have foreign currencies and currency risks related to our revenue, cost of revenue, operating expenses, localized subsidiary debt, denominated in currencies other than US dollar. Currently primarily in the Chinese yuan, euro, Canadian dollar, British pound. To the extent we have significant revenues denominated in such foreign currencies, any strengthening of the US dollar would tend to reduce our revenues as measured in US dollars. As we have historically experienced, in addition, a portion of our costs and our expenses have been, and we anticipate will continue to be, denominated in foreign currencies. including Chinese yuan and Japanese yen. If we do not have fully offsetting revenues in these currencies, and if the value of the US dollar depreciates significantly against these currencies, our costs as measured in the US dollar as a percent of our revenues will correspondingly increase and our margins will suffer. Moreover, while we undertake limited hedging activities intended to offset the impact of currency translation exposure, it is impossible to predict our climate such impact. As a result of our operating results may be harmed. This is the biggest part that I think that he is saying. And anybody who is paying attention to the Forex market understands this. Not just if you're in crypto land, you're in crypto land, and you have no idea probably what's going on in the foreign exchange market. You don't care what's going on with the euro or the British pound or the Canadian dollar or the Chinese yuan or the Japanese yen or the whatever else is there, you know, the krona. You don't care about these other currencies, but you should. You absolutely should, because this is what he's saying. He's basically pointing that the dollar is what is the biggest threat to Tesla. That's what this here is all about. He is saying this without a doubt. He's saying that the dollar is the biggest threat to Tesla, and that is why they put 1.5 billion in their treasuries. They didn't want that 1.5 billion sitting in the US dollar. Why? Because what if it kept going down? Have you guys seen the dollar lately? Have any of you crypto heads seen the dollar lately? Huh? Have you seen the dollar lately? Excuse me while I've been marking up my charts for the dollar. Well, if we look at this at a 4-hour perspective, right? The current low, 89.204. Right now we're at 90.856. It's not let me, for some reason, sometimes it'll let me squeeze in closer, sometimes it won't. Previous low before that in 2018 was 88.202. We are not too far from that. We could be weeks away, we could be months away, especially in the type of season that we are in, right? Now, believe it or not, I'm looking at the daily. Let's look at the monthly. The monthly is going to have you go scratching your head for a second. Right, because I have way too many things going on here, but in the monthly, before we started this month, we had a gap. A huge gap in price. But guess what? It came up and filled that gap and then rejected right away. And that happened on Friday of this past week. All of that big old, you see that big old push right here? This is in the dollar. Forget here, let's just hide this. I should be hiding this anyway. No, you guys should be seeing this. This right here, this big push up and then push down, happened on Friday. This is the month of February already. We have already pushed up to November's lows, right? And now we're pushing back down. Remember November? November was a time when crypto took off. We are not looking good in the dollar, folks. We are not looking good in the dollar whatsoever. So if we get down to the daily chart of the dollar, and we go back to 2018, see that here, right? This is that low. Here was the previous low that we had back in early January. Or sorry, was that early January? Yeah, January 7th. And it was pushing up since then. Well, there was a reason why it pushed up. The reason why it pushed up was to fill that gap. Right, this is all technical stuff, right? It had nothing to do with the fundamentals of the dollar actually getting stronger, or there being a changing of the president or anything like that. It had nothing to do with that. Technicals are technicals, and technicals will always be technicals. And the way these technicals read is that this dollar is destined to just go lower. And we're just waiting to see the day, right, till it gets lower than this 80.23, right? Why? Because there's a lot of liquidity resting below there, right? We're waiting today to see when it gets below 88.247. Why? Because there's a lot of liquidity resting below there. Where do you think that liquidity is going? Anyone want to guess? Going to Bitcoin. Everybody's taking their dollars and they're putting it into Bitcoin. You remember that? Let's go back to that dollar chart I just had. Remember that 2018 run that we had for Bitcoin that didn't last so long and it crashed? Right? It's the exact opposite of what happened here. This time there isn't going to be no opposite. There's not going to be an opposite of this. There's not going to be a recovery from this dollar. Not the way everything's going. Not with how much we're spending. Not with the way we're not opening up the economy. Not with the way that people aren't working. Not with the way that we're incentivizing people to stay at home versus just actually trying to go out and trying to find a job. Right? This pullback was just a necessary pullback. Right? It happens in everything, right? And just like in Bitcoin, you're going to see pullbacks too. We'll probably see them soon. Right? I mean, you're already seeing one now, right? What's interesting is that it's already reached. So the last time it hit this low, right? Last low it hit before it kind of did this, right? Remember when it went sideways for a little bit? We were wondering what the hell was going on with Bitcoin. Why isn't it doing anything? And then here it was. January 31st. That was the low, right? That was well, it wasn't the low, but it was the last time that we kind of saw Bitcoin go sideways. After that, boom, shot up. Kind of made a retracement, boom, shot up. Started making its way. So what I did, I threw a little Fibonacci on here. Here's where I get technical on you. Right? Look at Bitcoin from that last time we got low. Right? That January 31st low, right? And then a day later, we made a little bit of a high, right? We got above 34. Got a little bit more exciting. We were out of the 32s. Pulls back, hits 33. Goes up. Where are we at right now with that trade? Right? Where are we at right now with it? If you take that same distance, right? Let me just draw a little line here. Not even a vertical line. Let's do a trend line. Take this off of here. We do this distance right here, right? Because that's what I'm measuring, right? From this low, right, to this high. And we do that 5 times. Exactly where Bitcoin has hit its high. 5 times that amount, exactly. Don't tell me that's not a coincidence. That's how technical trading works. And the people with the money in the room know this. They know that's where it's going to go. Now, here, this right here was the announcement of Tesla putting in $1.5 billion. Now, the question is, are we going to be able to find a ledger that shows $1.5 billion going straight to Bitcoin from some kind of wallet? Huh? Are we going to be able to go on blockchain, right? And we see the latest transactions, right? Are we going to be able to find a transaction that shows $1.5 billion right into Bitcoin? I mean, look at this. This guy almost put in $1 million. And these are the ones that are just, I mean, these just happened now at 8:20. 8:20 my time, which is Central Time. These are all happening right now. And these are the hashes formed. Are we going to be able to find an amount that's for 1.5 billion? Exactly. The answer is no. We're not. The question is, somewhere in this statement, right, they decided to update their policy to where they could, you know, hold digital assets and gold bullion and gold ETFs, things like that. And therefore, we invested in aggregate. That's the word right there. Aggregate. What does aggregate mean? Anybody know? Anybody know what aggregate means? Can we go to Elon Musk and ask him? That didn't work too well now, did it? Formed by a collection of units or formed by a collection of units or particles into a body of mass or amount. All right. Here's one aggregate. To collect or gather into a mass or a whole. Whole sum or amount. Okay. Considered as a whole collectively, but it isn't. It doesn't say it is a whole, right? In this article, or in this tax filing, in this SEC filing, they don't say we invested 1.5 billion at once, you know, or at one time, or I wouldn't know the word to put it, but an aggregate, like they said, a collection. They've been doing this for a while, right? They've been doing this for a while. They've been investing probably little bits here and there throughout the month of Jan. If not, I mean, here's the thing. They say in January is when they updated their investment policy. Question is were they doing it before then? Were they doing it before then? That's what I want to know. I mean, all these memes of Dogecoin. What were these memes of Dogecoin to get you to pump to Dogecoin so that maybe he could also pump to Dogecoin and then get out at the right time and then switch over to Bitcoin? Because he just says digital assets in here. I mean, they did say, you know, they did put 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. They didn't say how much in gold. They didn't say how much in anywhere else, but they did mention Bitcoin specifically. 1.5 billion in Bitcoin specifically. Because they're threatened by other foreign currencies, by our own currency. That is where the big risk comes in, right? So Bitcoin, to me, is the aggregate of currencies. Anybody can get into Bitcoin, right? Nigeria, right? Yemen, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, you know, Australia, New Zealand, Czechoslovakia. Actually, that's not even a country anymore. The Czech Republic. You know, all these, you know, any of these countries can be investors in Bitcoin, you know. So I've got this whale alert thing on. I should probably take it off. And so the thing is that just the announcement brought it up this much. This wasn't when they invested 1.5 billion. This was in the Forex world what we call a news event, right? So we know a news event is coming by going to forexfactory.com. You know, we see the upcoming announcements, things like that. So we can anticipate these. I don't think it would. We anticipated it, but we didn't anticipate when and exactly how much, right? So the thing is that the question is when was Tesla investing in Bitcoin? Was it the whole month of January? Was it before then? Was it all last year? Was it this big one spike right here that just kind of comes out of nowhere? Right? Was it this guy? Sorry, I'm trying to bring it up and my computer's not letting me. Was it this? Was this part of it? And that's the thing, is that, you know, if it goes up, I'm not really for sure if people sold off. most people are hodlers, you know. I mean, I guess there's some day traders, but you know, most people are hodlers. And if there's not action, then what the price will do is the price will go down until it finds buyers again, right? You know, it doesn't just stay there just because that's the price, right? Price tries to come to an agreement, and if there's no agreement on price, it's going to keep on trying to go down until it finds an agreement on price. And once there's a buyer, then it'll stay there, right? And then it'll go up. More buyers, so it'll go up. More buyers, it'll go up. And of course, sellers will, you know, drive the price down too. But if nothing's happening on either side, it's not going to go up. Try to find sellers, it's going to go down to try to find buyers instead. So, you know, you have this one huge move here. You know, was that part of it? You know, maybe that was just 1 million of it, right? Maybe over here was 300,000 of it. Maybe over here was 200,000 of it. Maybe over here was 600,000 of it. Because as you can see, if we go to blockchain, we can see that people are investing 150, you know, $278, 2,000, 810,000. And these are happening right now, right? And what's happening to the price of Bitcoin? It's not. Come on now. It's falling. You know? So there's tons of people putting money in Bitcoin, but it's still falling. I don't see this as them going, okay, we're filing our tax document, right? We're filing our tax document, and then, you know, at that point, the price just goes up. I just don't see that. Or we're saying we're putting in 1.5 billion, so therefore, here's our money. We're putting it into Bitcoin at the exact same time we're filing this. That just does not seem feasible to me. Something tells me that they've been investing for a while. So, I'm not for sure what it is. I'm not for sure how long they've been investing, but it seems that Elon is running from the dollar. And I'll leave it at that. It says my stream is very poor, so I'll just leave it at that. And if it is that really poor, I'll just upload the video. But me, from what I'm seeing that Elon is running from the dollar. And it's very obvious. It's very obvious that Elon is running from the dollar, and Elon is trying to make sure that his company is staying alive by making sure that, you know, like he said, a lot of his competition, a lot of where his money is coming from the Japanese won, or Japanese yen, and the Chinese yuan. And if he's not making enough revenue in those areas specifically, he can't compete. So, and if he's not, where does he put it? Bitcoin. Because the dollar isn't doing it. The dollar isn't doing it anymore. And that's all I got, guys. I'll leave it at that. Hope you guys have a good night. Make sure to keep your pants on. And watch out for the next thing. I don't know what else to tell you. Use Gate.io. Watch out for Cardano. Watch out for Polka. These guys are doing some good things. I mean, they may be what's taken away from Ethereum. I mean, let's take a look at Ethereum right now really quick. Why not? While we're still here, right? Because Ethereum, you know, it did breach a new high, but it's not, it's not being as impressive as Bitcoin is, which as previously, you know, Ethereum was being way more impressive than Bitcoin was. But we'll see what happens. I'll do another update of my top 10 altcoins that I did, and we'll see what happens from there. But as for now, again, thanks a lot for watching. Please hit the subscribe, like button, those kind of things. Make sure you're staying in touch. That way I can keep making these videos. Subscribe, or at least subscribe to my Patreon if you can. I'm not asking for much, $3 a month just to keep me going. You know, it'll help me do multi-streaming, live streaming, you know, those kind of things, just to help me expand a little bit. You know, anything, any little bit here or there can help. I'm gonna put toward this operation, and hopefully get more news out there, and more people critically thinking about these type of things, because I think that's what we need. We need more people critically thinking about what's happening, because I think what happened today with Elon Musk and the Bitcoin thing is a lot bigger than what people think it is, or perceive it to be. They just think, oh, he put 1.5 into Bitcoin. No, there's a bigger picture in all of this. There's a huger picture in all of this, right? And that picture is he's running from the dollar, and we all got to be paying attention to that. You crypto people, pay attention to the foreign currencies. I'm telling you, if you don't, it's gonna come and bite you in the butt, right? Foreign currency people, pay attention to crypto. If not, it's gonna come bite you in the butt, because you're not getting into this as well, right? Anybody that's, I'm not a financial advisor, I don't claim to be, but anybody that is a financial advisor will always tell you, do not put all your eggs in one basket, right? I'm not going to tell you where I have my money, but I have my money sprinkled in a lot of different seeds in a lot of different places. Hidden in a lot of different areas, right? So I'm just saying, take what Tesla's doing and think about that. Read that. Read their SEC filing, and really read into it and what he's trying to say, right? Because it means something big, right? Anyways, that's all I got. Ted out from Bodies and Wicks. Keep your pants on, all right? Always remember to hit that like button and subscribe button on your way out, all right? Peace.